Hi everyone, today I'm doing a blue eye makeup tutorial, and as you can see I've used bright blue intense jewel toned blue eyeshadows. Starting with the look, the first product I'm going to use is a black cream eyeshadow by Shiseido. And I'm going to apply this all over my lid as a base using a fluffy eyeshadow brush. What this will basically do is it will act like a base for the eyeshadows and it will intensify the color of the eyeshadow when I apply it on top. Next I'm going to apply the same cream eyeshadow along my lower lash line, and I'm using the Colorbar smudging brush for this step. Using a clean blending brush, I'm just going to smoke out and soften the edges of the black cream eyeshadow applied in the previous step. The first eyeshadow I'm going to use here is by L'Oreal Paris. This is the Infallible eyeshadow in the shade All Night Blue. Using a small pencil brush, I'm going to apply this in the outer 1/3 of my lid. And next I'm going to apply the same eyeshadow on the inner 1/3 of my lid, leaving out the center part of my lid. Next I'm going to apply the same eyeshadow along my lower lash line, and I'm only going to take it about 3/4 of the way in, leaving out the part near the tear duct. For the center part of my lid, I'm going to use a bright blue eyeshadow. This is Freshwater by MAC, and I'm going to pat this in the central portion of my lid where I did not apply the darker blue eyeshadow. I'm just using my fingers for this step, but you can also use a brush. So you can see I've created a bit of gradient here. I used a bright blue in the center part and darker blue in the corners. To blend out the eyeshadows in the crease, I'm going to use a matte brown eyeshadow from Inglot, and using a MAC 217 brush, I'm going to apply this all along my crease line to soften the edges of the blue eyeshadows. I'm also using the same brown eyeshadows to soften the edges along my lower lash line. To highlight, I am going to use a pigment by MAC. This is the shade Naked, and I'm using the MAC 219 brush to apply this in my tear duct and inner corner. And I'm also going to apply this along my brow bone to highlight. To line my waterline, I'm going to use this bright icy blue kohl from Maxfactor, and I'm applying this all along my waterline. You could also use a black kohl if you like. To line my upper lash line, I'm going to use a black liner. This is the Bobbi Brown gel liner in the shade Caviar Ring, and I'm using the Colorbar Angled brush to line my upper lash line. Now to add a little more dimension to my lids, I am going to use this bright turquoise pigment. This is the shade Reflects Turquatic by MAC, and I'm going to use a flat brush, and I'm just going to pat it just on the center part of my lid where the light would reflect. And you can see how this adds just a bit more glamour to the look. Coming to the last step, that is the lashes, I'm going to use the Bobbi Brown long wear mascara here. I'm not curling my eyelashes because I'm going to apply a pair of false eyelashes later on. So I've added a pair of false eyelashes and this is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you soon in my next video.